Hi, welcome to Farmer's Daughter. My name's Chloe. What can I get for you?
Hi, and welcome to the Farmer's Daughter Coffee Company channel. I wanted to welcome you to the channel. My name's Lucas, and my wife Jana and my daughter Chloe have opened a coffee shop called Farmer's Daughter Coffee Company. And we want to share with you all of the things pertaining to opening our own coffee shop. Now, we're learning as we go, and so you're going to see our mistakes and some of the things that we talk about. You might have better ideas, and we hope that you will share those with us in the comments, and we can learn and grow together. To begin with, we had to make lots of alterations to our location because we picked a location with lots of traffic in a great environment that's going to be great for our coffee shop. But this is an old auto parts store, so it was not set up to be run as a coffee shop. And we had to put in all of the infrastructure and build all of the offices and restrooms, counter lines, kitchens, the whole works. We had to fix in this building so that it would be ready to house Farmer's Daughter Coffee Company. From our drive-through, where we had to do away with parking spots and add a drive-through window and menu. The great part about turning this building into a coffee shop is that we had a blank slate. We got to set everything up the way that we wanted it. So we built our counter lines, we built the kitchen, we built the restrooms and the office area and the storage and all of those things. So while it was an expense and it was a lot of unexpected expense, we also were able to turn it into just what we wanted so that we could create the vibe in our coffee shop that we were looking for. So we built out and designed the restrooms and the cleaning closets and the food storage closets and the office and all of that to get set up to be ready to house the coffee shop here. And we got to basically choose our own design and install an office complete with disco ball. Of course, we also had to add all of the plumbing for all of the equipment. So we had to add water filters and we had to run the water lines and drains and everything. So we had to cut the concrete floors, bust up concrete, dig it out. All of those alterations had to be done before we could get our counters installed and get all of the equipment installed and everything that we needed to open the coffee shop here. We chose the La Marzocco espresso machine, and I will let my daughter introduce you to that and tell you about all the details of why we chose that, because she is the expert in that category and I'm just kind of along for the ride. But they got it customized in pink, so it fits the vibe and looks pretty cool. And we are also going to roast our own beans in-house, and we went with the Yoshan coffee roaster, which again, they got to custom order in pink. Now this is actually just a small model. It's a 2-kilogram roaster, so a little over 4 pounds that we can roast at a time. And as we grow and our volume grows, we're probably gonna have a hard time keeping up with this size of a roaster, but just starting out, just starting a business, having all of these other expenses, we had to kind of make our choices based on our budget. And so that's why we went with this roaster. And I've roasted about 50 pounds of beans in it so far, and it took a reasonable amount of time. I can roast, 5 batches in, a couple of hours or less. So I don't think it's gonna be any big deal for us to keep up in the beginning, and we'll kind of go from there. But I plan on sharing with you the details of how this machine is installed and assembled and all of those things, because it came with no instructions, and I was left trying to search through videos and look at other people's roasters to figure out how to put it all together. I couldn't find a good assembly video. So we'll share with you some of those things, installation of the espresso machine and the coffee roaster and all of those things as we grow the channel and share more information with you. But next, I want to introduce you to the co-owners of Farmer's Daughter Coffee Company and let them tell you just a little bit about the beginning stages of starting their coffee shop and maybe share a couple of tips with you on that. So I wanted to take a moment to introduce you to my wife, Jana. Jana is kind of the brains behind the back office of our coffee shop. So she takes care of all of the ordering supplies and inventory and accounting and payroll and all of that kind of stuff. But on top of that, in the planning stages of the operation, she was the one who did all the legwork for finding real estate and deciding what we needed in terms of build out, hiring contractors and the whole work. So she really has put the work into this. And I've kind of just been the grunt work. She tells me where to go and when and what to build and where to put it and all that stuff. So The first thing I wanted Jana to share with you is maybe just the first tip that she would give anyone who is in the beginning stages of planning their own coffee shop build.
Number one, you've got to have a good solid plan going into it. Before we ever did anything, I sat down and made a list of all the equipment and food and everything that I thought that we would need, and I sort of priced everything. So I had a ballpark figure of the amount of money we would need. But I also think that you have to expect the unexpected and just be determined that you're going to make it happen no matter what. You know, I had my budget and we had some unexpected expenses. We had already signed the lease on this building.
By unexpected expenses, like our expenses doubled because of
At least, yeah.
plumbing.
Yeah.
Mostly.
And we had signed the lease on this and we were committed to it. We were excited about it. And then we realized that the plumbing was going to be a lot.
We had budgeted, I think, $6,000 for plumbing. And we were just thinking, put in some drain lines and water lines, no big deal. Not thinking that, of course, the floors are concrete. And in this building, the only plumbing and water is in the very front of the building in the opposite corner of where we needed it, which means cutting floors, busting concrete with jackhammers, digging it out, a lot of expensive labor. So those costs basically tripled.
And our first, we wanted our drive-through in the back part of the building, and so we need our barista line in that area of the building. So, we talked about different things like, could we move our barista bar to the front of the building to save on some of the plumbing expense, but it really just didn't make sense with the drive-through.
Now, in trying to maintain flow and efficiency, we figured that over time we would spend the costs in labor costs, and we would have an inefficient flow, and it would be kind of awkward for customers and everything. So all the way around, we were just kind of locked in and had no choice but to keep moving forward and spend the money. Jana, how about you share with us some of the things you'd like to cover on the channel as we start creating content? When I interview you for videos, what kind of content will you be covering?
I think that my part is the less glamorous part and the part that you don't really see. Chloe makes the cool drinks and takes the cool pictures and all the fun stuff. And I get to track inventory and figure out, how long it's going to take us to get supplies in and make sure we don't run out of stuff. And it's a learning curve. I'm sure it won't be perfect, but that's kind of...
But don't let her fool you. She's told me more than once that her dream job is sitting in an office doing paperwork and all of those things.
Oh, I love it. I could sit here forever and work.
I really look forward to creating more content about all things coffee shop. And next we're going to go interview Chloe, and we'll introduce you to Chloe, who is our barista and kind of the brains behind all the drinks that we make.
Hi, welcome to Farmer's Daughter. My name's Chloe. What can I get for you?
All right, I'm here with Chloe, and Chloe is at home in front of an espresso machine. So how many years have you been making drinks at coffee shops?
A little over 2 years.
Okay. And you kind of started your dream of owning a coffee shop on your own a little bit. Tell me a little bit about that.
I have always loved visiting coffee shops, and I bought an espresso machine to make my drinks at home, and so I started setting up at little dinners at church and making drinks there. And I knew that I was starting to get pretty good at it, and so I wanted to do that as a job.
Instead of
being an English teacher, which I was in college to do.
She decided she didn't love her major and maybe a different career path was in order. So this was the perfect solution, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Chloe, share with everyone what the first piece of advice would be that you would offer to someone who has the dream of opening their own coffee shop.
I would say just be aware that it's not just coffee stuff and just making drinks, because the first little bit of it where we were doing more construction, business side stuff, I did not enjoy it at all.
Yeah, she complained about having to run the shop back while we were building the coffee shop. So she's all about the coffee, not so much the other stuff. Okay, Chloe, one last question for you, since we are just kind of putting out our first video to talk about what this channel is going to be like. Tell us what kind of content you want to create on the channel.
I want to make videos that will help explain what's in people's drinks so that they kind of know the lingo when they go to order something, or just so they can make their own drinks or become a barista themselves. Because there's a lot of stuff that people think is confusing about coffee, but I think that anybody can learn how to do it.
Yeah, and there are also timers on the coffee roaster going off in the background, so that's cool. I think those are great ideas for content. I think they'll be very helpful to people who are trying to learn how to make drinks, as well as helpful to new employees that can watch and kind of learn more about the business and all of that. So I'm looking forward to kind of being host to the videos here on this channel. I have my own channel, Peaks Peak Hobby Homestead, where we talk about life on the farm. but this is a totally different vibe, different operation, and I'm excited to be a part of their dream and kind of share that with all of you. So we hope that you enjoyed today's video, and we appreciate you all watching.
Stay groovy.